She left that evening. No goodbye kiss, no tears, just a duffel bag, a few folded clothes, and a closed door. I watched her car pull out of the driveway without moving. Once she was gone, the silence in the house became unbearable again, but this time it felt final. There were no more chances, no more explanations coming, just space. The first week passed in a fog. I went to work, came home, stared at the walls. Her mug was still in the kitchen. Her pillow still had the faint scent of her perfume. I didn't touch anything. I didn't know if I was mourning her or the version of her I thought I knew. Friends asked if I was okay. I lied, said I was fine, just needed time. The truth was, I didn't even know what I felt. Anger came in waves, then faded. Sometimes I felt relief, then guilt for feeling relieved. Mostly, I just felt empty. One night, I opened a drawer and found an old anniversary card she'd written me 3 years ago. It was filled with love, memories, promises. I read it twice, then threw it away. I didn't want souvenirs of someone who no longer existed. I started therapy. I didn't tell anyone. It was just once a week, an hour to say everything I'd kept bottled up. The therapist didn't judge, she just listened. And slowly I started to unpack it all. The distance, the silence, the betrayal, and my own part in how things unraveled. It would have been easier to blame her entirely. But if I was honest, I hadn't been fully present either. I let the routines take over. I assumed love would hold without maintenance. I stopped noticing her the way I used to. And while that never justifies what she did, I had to accept that I hadn't fought for her until it was too late. A month passed before I heard anything. She sent a short message. "I'm sorry. I hope you're okay." I didn't reply, not because I wanted to hurt her, but because I had nothing left to say that wouldn't keep old wounds bleeding. A mutual friend told me the guy she'd been seeing ended things. Apparently, it wasn't what she thought it would be. The reality of the affair didn't live up to the fantasy, but by then it didn't matter to me. I wasn't waiting for her to come back. I was rebuilding something she'd never be part of again, my peace. Some nights, I still catch myself thinking about her, not with longing, but curiosity, wondering how someone can fade so completely from your life while still being part of your past. But I don't hate her, not anymore. I just understand her now in a way I didn't before. And maybe that understanding is the final step in letting go, because in the end, losing her hurt. But losing myself would have been more. She didn't waste time. "I've been seeing someone," she said, staring at the floor. No build-up, no softening the blow. Just the truth, blunt and cold. My chest tightened, but I didn't flinch. I just asked, "How long?" "3 months," she replied. "It started slow, then it wasn't." I nodded once. No shouting, no sarcasm. I didn't even ask who. The name didn't matter. What mattered was that I hadn't been wrong. My instincts were sharp. My heart had been screaming it for weeks. Now it was just confirmed. "I felt invisible," she continued, "like I was just part of the furniture. You stopped seeing me." "I was still here," I said quietly. "Physically, yeah," she said. "But emotionally, you checked out a long time ago." That stung more than the cheating. I wanted to deny it, to point out the dinners I made, the texts I sent, the vacations I planned. But deep down, I knew what she meant. We'd both been running on fumes, just going through the motions, waiting for one of us to admit we were done. Still, betrayal has a sharpness that logic doesn't dull. "So you found someone who sees you?" I asked. She nodded. "He listens. He makes me feel wanted." "And that's worth throwing this away?" "I don't know," she said. "I didn't mean for it to go this far, But when you said don't come back, I honestly didn't think I would. Then why are you here now? She hesitated. Because I needed to see if there was anything left. Her words hung in the air, heavy and useless. I searched her face for something, regret, love, even guilt. But all I saw was fatigue. Not the kind from a sleepless night, but the kind that comes after pretending for too long. Do you love him? I asked. No, she said quickly, too quickly. Do you love me? Silence. That was the answer, not yes. Not number, just silence. I stood up. You made your choice. Now live with it. She looked up finally. Her eyes were glossy, but no tears fell. So that's it. I shrugged. What else is there? You wanted someone else. Now you have him. I didn't want to hurt you. You just didn't care enough not to. She didn't argue. She just sat there, small and quiet, while I gathered my keys and phone. I wasn't going anywhere. I just needed something to do with my hands to keep them from shaking. I'll pack some things and go, she said after a pause. Take what you need. The rest can wait. She stood slowly, walked past me like a shadow, and disappeared into the bedroom. I stayed rooted in place, unwilling to follow, unwilling to watch her dismantle our life one drawer at a time. There was nothing left to say. The truth had already done its damage. The silence after she left was unbearable. I sat on the edge of the couch for what felt like hours, phone in hand, not knowing if I was waiting for a message, an apology, or just confirmation that it was really over. I kept staring at the front door like it might open at any second. It didn't. I checked her location, turned off. I called once. It rang twice, then went to voicemail. I didn't call again. Pride or fear, I couldn't tell which stopped me. I just knew I didn't want to hear her voice if she wasn't calling to come home. I opened a bottle of whiskey we'd been saving for our anniversary. That was in 3 weeks. The irony wasn't lost on me. I poured a glass and tried to breathe. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined her laughing in someone else's passenger seat. That top she wore, the perfume I hadn't smelled in months, it wasn't for me. The night dragged. I scrolled through old pictures, beach trips, her goofy selfies, that look she used to give me when I wasn't paying attention, and she thought I was cute anyway. There were hundreds of moments where we looked happy. Maybe we were. Maybe she just got tired. Or maybe I missed the cracks forming years ago. I kept replaying the argument, if you could even call it that. Just one sentence each, no shouting, no tears. But somehow it hit harder than any screaming match. She didn't argue because she had nothing to defend. She'd already made up her mind. And I think deep down I had too. The hours crawled by, midnight, 1, 2. At some point I fell asleep on the couch, phone still gripped in my hand. I woke up to the sound of the door opening. It was almost 7 a.m. She walked in like it was any other morning. No explanation, no shame. Just tired eyes and yesterday's makeup. She didn't speak right away, neither did I. There was nothing I could say that wouldn't sound like begging or accusation, and I wasn't sure which I hated more. She finally broke the silence. We need to talk. That was it. No apology, no denial, just a sentence that carried more weight than anything she'd ever said to me. I nodded slowly. My throat was dry, my hands were shaking, but I didn't want her to see. She sat down across from me like a stranger. Her posture was stiff. She avoided my eyes. And I already knew what she was going to say, even if I wasn't ready to hear it. You don't come home at dawn from a night out unless there's more to explain than just bad timing. Still, I sat there, pretending to be calm, while every muscle in my body braced for impact. I wasn't hoping for the truth anymore. I was just waiting for. We'd been married for almost 8 years. In the beginning, everything felt right. Easy laughter, shared plans, a comfort in silence that only real closeness brings. But somewhere in the past year, the rhythm shifted. Conversations turned into logistics. Texts became reminders. Kisses felt like habits. I noticed the changes before I admitted them to myself. She started coming home later. Her makeup was different. Darker eyes, redder lips. She took longer to get ready, even if she said she was just going out for drinks with co-workers. I'd ask who she was meeting. She'd brush it off with, "Just the usual people, don't worry about it." But I did worry. Her smile didn't reach her eyes anymore. We used to spend weekends wrapped up in each other. Now she'd scroll through her phone, laugh at something I didn't say, and excuse herself to the bedroom, door slightly closed. I tried to tell myself I was being paranoid, that marriage just went through phases, that people get busy, distracted, tired. But deep down, I knew better. You can feel when someone isn't looking at you the same anymore. Then came that night. She was already dressed when I walked in from work. Black heels, tight jeans, a top I hadn't seen before. Her hair was done like it used to be when we were dating. She stood by the mirror, putting on lipstick. I watched her for a moment, wondering if she even realized how far she'd drifted. "I'm going out tonight," she said casually, like she was telling me we were out of milk. I stood there, keys still in hand, backpack slung over my shoulder. Something in me cracked. It wasn't anger, it was exhaustion, from wondering, from pretending, from hoping she'd choose us again. "If you go," I said quietly, "don't come back." Her hand froze mid-swipe. Our eyes met in the mirror. Her expression didn't change. No shock, no apology, just blank. "You're serious?" she asked. I nodded. "I'm done guessing. I'm done feeling like I'm the only one fighting." She looked at me for a few seconds longer. Then she picked up her purse, slung it over her shoulder, and walked right past me. No words, no hesitation. Just the sound of her heels fading down the hallway and the front door clicking shut. I stood there for a long time, staring at the spot she had just vacated. I expected to feel rage. I expected to throw something or collapse, but all I felt was stillness, like something had just ended and neither of us bothered to say goodbye. And in that silence, for the first time, I stopped lying to myself. I knew she wasn't just going out. I knew I hadn't been crazy, and I knew she wasn't planning on coming back.